Hello and thanks for staying on LN 24/7. This is Politics Now. My name is Morno Balagbo. We've got quite a show for you tonight. There's just a whole lot happening in our nation, Nigeria, that we just have to talk about it. Well, our bane for conversation tonight has to do with the polity focus on economic hardship. So here is a rundown of our talking points. We'll look at the clampdown on planned protest scheduled for August and also talk about the minimum wage beyond 70,000 naira. And also APC-led administration's tackling of economic hardship. Joining us shortly, Ambassador Austin Osage is with us. He's a UN Peace Ambassador and also a member of the All Progressive Congress. We'll get to break down some of the talking points that you just saw on your screen. Then later on the show, we'll take some time to go over to Edo State and talk about Philip Shaibu's reinstatement as Deputy Governor, attack on him and the APC Guba candidate, Okpebelo, and the impact of the Obaseki Shaibu feud on governance. There's just a lot to talk about, and political correspondent and reporter Bobby Egbosa Obayuwana is going to be joining us via video call. We'll be talking to him shortly. So sit back, we'll be right back to break it all down for you. All right, as hardship bites harder, some Nigerian youths plan nationwide protests beginning from the 1st of August to the 10th, 2024. The protest, which is currently gaining traction in the north and other parts of the country, is aimed at drawing the attention of governments at all levels to the plight of the citizens. Now, since the current administration took off in May 2023, when President Bola Tinubu announced the abolition of fuel subsidy, there has been an untoward hardship in the country, and this has led to calls for the reversal of some of the policies that Mr. President, has put in place. And the protest is scheduled to take place in the 36 states of the country and the Federal Capital Territory inclusive. Now, while some of the organizers, particularly from the northern region, remain anonymous, the 2023 presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, Omoyele Sowore, has been campaigning for the August protest via his social media handles. And also the SDP, Social Democratic Party, has also come out to support the protest. Now, what are the demands? What are some of the key issues? Let's just break it down for you. Well, if we're looking at the economic hardship protest demands, number one, they say end subsidy scam and reverse fuel price to below 300 naira per litre. They also say bring tertiary education fees back to their previous rates, restore electricity tariff to affordable levels for the public, return import duties to their previous rates, publicly disclose and reduce the salaries and allowances of all senators and House of Representatives. Talking about the House of Representatives, on Thursday, they urged proponents of the proposed nationwide protest to shelve the plan and consider patience and dialogue with the government instead. The lawmakers agreed that the challenges are not unique to Nigeria, stressing that the road to change is not easy, and they called on Nigerians not to lose sight of the reforms and strides made by the government towards a more prosperous nation. And the lawmakers in the House have also resolved to sacrifice 50% of the next 6 months to support Nigerians amid the hardship. Let's just take a listen to the Deputy Speaker of the House, and then we'll talk with our guest.
Speak to the people of Nigeria. Your crying is right. Your complaint of hardship is right. But is the solution found in carrying placard and lining the streets? Is the solution found in copying a country lesser than us? The references that are made today to Kenya and all the rest of them, they are smaller country to Nigeria. We are giant of Africa. We must provide a solution that is better and sustainable and lasting. That's that solution is not found in our children being killed on the street while protesting. It's not found in our raising placard. It's found in supporting the policies of government and understanding that these policies need time to begin to materialize. Moving that we amend that prayer to include that members sacrifice maybe 50% of our salary for a period of 3 months or 6 months to help Nigeria.
Right, live with us in our studio here in Abuja is Ambassador Austin Osagie. Thank you so much for being with us on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is all mine. So, the protest, you're not new to protest. If you don't know, Ambassador is a comrade and he's been out and about. We don't have time to go over his history right now, but if there is anybody that can talk about protest, I guess you are the person, because you're also friends to Showore, who is also one of those proposing this protest. So it's been basically 1 year plus since President Bola Tinubu, took office. His policies, as logical and reasonable as they are according to paper, we're still feeling the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy, and Nigerians are crying. Most of the interventions are yet to fully take shape, and now people are saying they want to protest. Now, is this in relationship to what we just saw in Kenya and how they were able to ensure that their president, bows down to their demands to ensure that the finance bill that they wanted to put into law, the president had to stop it and also cut down the salaries of governors? So is that what could be, feeling like, oh, if they can do it, then definitely we can do it? What is your take on this move for, youths? They are not yet identified, like in the report in the North, a lot of them, we don't really know who are going to front it, come August. But what is your take on this decision to want to express the demands, most especially coming from the youths all across the country?
Thank you for having me once again. I think we have discussed outside the camera before now, and as I've said, protest is good. It's a form of pressing needs, probably for government, probably for certain reasons to be noticed. But the particular form of protest we are talking about tonight, that is the context of our discussion. And what is it? As I've said, a protest should be identified as those that are behind it. You mentioned one or two names, which are notable names, for the candidate of the SDP and the candidate of the... Actually, I've not seen the one of the SDP, but if
it was a party statement.
If the Showore is involved, I think he's... But as I was saying before, this same government is a product of protest.
Exactly, looking at Tinubu's antecedents.
Certain times they have protested, they have led it. Personally, the president and the former president, the immediate past president, have led a protest, even in Abuja, probably to press for demand when the party, then when they were trying to register the party and all that. So to me, but we have to look at the other side of the protest too. What is the other side? The other side is the hijack side of it. As I was saying, in a sane society, there are some countries in Africa, probably in terms of population, you can't compare. So I'm one of these persons that I don't make comparison with countries, because I look at the size of those countries. Are they up to Nigerian size? Because we are talking about Nigeria today that with diverse religious ethnicities and all that. So we are not like many countries in Africa or even in the world. We are not speaking one particular language. We are not. So whichever way, you can't compare how their little form of protest can be as here. And today we are talking about, I saw it on the social media, I think 2-3 days ago. The project is going to be a dose in the big, let me put it, in some regions that like they are making mention of Kano, Kaduna, Port Harcourt. They are talking about those big states in Nigeria, probably for their attention. But to me, I want to see protest is not a bad form. But what are the mode of the protest, and what are the guarantee from the security that this protest will not be hijacked? Because as I said before now, whether we like it or not, there are a lot of anger right now. Some are genuine anger, some are those that lost out from the last election, that they are saying that in every way you want to do it, this country will not succeed. And I continue telling people this, whether you like it or not. You might have a genuine reasons, probably to push for some things. But if you don't know how to go about it, it can later become an issue. So when you ask me a question, is the protest? Protest is a good form. But what are the modalities that the organizers are putting in place? Probably to see that the protest did not go out of hand. Because if that is the last option for government, probably to listen to the yearnings of the citizens, I think I want to subscribe to that.
And even before the protests, we can see the reactions from some governors, like Governor Bago. He released a statement and saying his state is not going to be a part of the protest. And also another state in the north too has also said they're not part of the protest. We've seen the House of Assembly, beg Nigerians to be patient. Now they're saying they want to sacrifice their 6 months salary. Is that applaudable, so to speak? Because I've seen some reactions about 50% of their salary. I recall former Senator Shaibu saying that salary is not the major thing, that all the allowances, that is where so if they want to be honest, do you think they should say, okay, let's just take our salaries at least to cater for our basic needs, to feed, buy fuel and transport, and all our allowances, let us use it to support vulnerable Nigerians out there? But what's your reaction to what the House of Assembly at least trying to make Nigerians feel like they care?
Yes, first, the governors from the north, I am a logic person, and probably sometimes I do look at it from the logic perspective of the whole issue. Like in Niger State, we all know that there's a security challenges there, and some other states in the north, whereby the people are only just waiting for an avenue, probably to hit on the government and destroy properties and human livelihood and all that. So to them, they have a genuine reason. I read the statement of the governor of Niger State, where he was saying that, and the governor of Borno State too, like the governor of Borno State yesterday, have an engagement with the youth of the state, whereby he probably is trying to tell them what the government is doing.
And let's not even forget that Niger State was where the hunger protests first started.
That's what I'm saying.
Before NLC came on board.
So you can imagine that people might not know, like in Niger State, for some times now, in Zuba, in Suleja, there many trucks that are coming from the north cannot pass there, because all those guys, all those hoodlums were just hijacking any truck that they see that load, So that one, I think, is not maybe purposely because of it's just people are taking advantage of. Imagine somebody, a cow is going along a truck loaded of cows were going, and they hijacked it, and they slaughter all the cows, and they went with the cows. So why are you telling? So is that hunger of that cow that day is going to solve all your problem? The answer is no. So for those that our viewers, the governor from the north, they cited their reasons. Some of them are just trying to regain from the security issues. So coming back again, they might not have that capacity probably to hold that. That is by the way. Well, I saw the tweet of the Senator Shaibu. It's laughable sometimes, and that's a typical Nigerian for you. But the question is that when they were there, when he was there as a senator, what was his role? That was the question. As at that time, is there any hunger on the ground? Or what was the role? He's an activist.
There was hunger, but one will argue that in 1 year, you can't measure.
No, when you say in 1 year, there's no doubt about it. There's hunger. If the government is aware that there's a problem, the answer is, what is the solution? What effort are government making? Probably to see that. And look at Niger State. They're talking about yesterday, the governor was still talking about the farming, encouraging people to see. To me, the condition we are now is a condition for everybody. It will be difficult for manna to fall for heaven,
But some people will say, for someone like you now, you are established.
I'm not saying. When you no. I'm coming. You see.
You're established.
No.
At least you can afford food, water, and drink.
No.
But for those who cannot afford,
when you say,
will it be a crime for them to say that? Okay, this is get on board and just do something. At least reverse.
Get the point clear. Get the point clear.
That you're putting.
Get the point clear. How do you assume? The issue is simple.
Because you don't sound like as if you have any challenge at all.
There's no way. See, I listened to President yesterday when he was talking to the NLC and all that. See, the condition we are. I'm not speaking for the government. Because I'm not authorized to speak for them. But as a citizen, and I have to be realistic to you. I'm a realist. I'm an activist and I'm a realist. And I tell you how it is. As it stands today, the condition we find ourselves now, it's not something that somebody can tell you or promise you that you can just come out there once. Look at the food crisis. We are just telling the government that the best government can do is to ensure that the security of properties and the life and properties. Because if the people can, I told you I traveled by road and I just came back and I saw that their development. My point of view is this.
Development where exactly?
I'm talking about in terms of agriculture.
Okay.
Because almost everybody, even
all across.
All across. If you're coming along the road, you see a lot of people are going to farm because look right, look left. To me,
southwest or the north.
Even the north, through the Niger State here, and you can see the Niger State governor have put in place some tractors because if we can get this right in the next 1 year or 2 years thereabout, automatically the multiplier effect of that, probably in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
But looking at this protest, is just after some of the policies of government. It's not like, okay, you're not doing anything. The government is definitely doing anything. I think it would be foolish for anybody to say that the government is not doing anything. But some of the policies taken by government, is really, really biting hard on the people. And that's why they are calling, for the reversal of some of these policies.
Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Yesterday, when they met with the labor union, before they could agree on it, the president make an offer. I will pay 250,000 you are requesting for. As I talk to you now, the subsidy money, the subsidy the government is paying on petrol, I think it should be over 1,000 naira based on.
So, but that's the fact that you mentioned is an indictment on the government.
No, I'm coming.
Deny the
no. See, not deny. I've just been it's a realistic. Get it? Government might deny or whether they not or what I'm trying to say is this: on a realistic base, look at the dollar rate. I could remember last year, the projection for the budget was 770. As of today, budget. So you can see that supplementary budget and all that are coming. We just have to face some reality. Yes, what I just expect is that probably government are going to look at some areas. Probably there's going to be an adjustment because their projection, which is normal, it can look elsewhere. Probably their projection last year, thinking that probably some of their workings, some of their plans might have been this way, but the ways. So I think government should come forward for that, probably to explain to citizens that probably these are the area we are looking before, but this is how it is now. Because you can't just tell. I'm of the opinion that you can't just tell people to be patient. Probably when you are not sensitizing them about what actually is happening, because it's a realistic way that there is no way for now. I don't know, except dollar miracle happen, that probably dollar come down.
We pray the miracle happen.
No, I'm just saying, except dollar come down, there's no way the pump price can be less than 300. I get me now. That one is sure. So there are some other ways too, probably in terms of some other demand, like they are saying probably import duty and all that. I think those are some other areas too. I think government should look at too, because when you look at the import duty, those things that we are buying before, there's no way any increase on that import duty is going to be at the end user, because the end user will suffer the consequence and all that. So I think in part of the the what do you call it, what the protester or the organizer of the protesters are putting forward. I think some of them are realistic, while some of them are not probably realistic.
Okay, you mentioned the Nigerian Labour Congress, organized labor actually, and of course on Thursday the Minister of Information Idris said that the federal government and the leadership of organized labor agreed to 70,000 naira as the new minimum wage. We don't have time to actually listen to the sound bite, but I mean there's been a lot of concessions also, because Labour on its own part had come out to say that this is why they actually, heeded to the government, just like you said. Okay, if I give you, I can pay you 250, but get ready for the price of fuel to actually go up. And a lot of people have been like very, very critical, but I think it's not as mixed as we expected, because I mean we saw the video where Labour was even singing and giving Busai to the president. So in my head, my first reaction to that was like, okay, I mean, how do you go from 250? I was thinking, okay, probably 100,000 naira would be, a bigger deal. But beyond 70,000 naira, that's the question. Can the state governors be able to pay? Because, I mean, the federal government doesn't pay all government workers. Those under state, local government on their own. And now local government has autonomy. Money is going to be sent to them. Will they be able to cater for all of that? That remains the question. But it was your assessment, 70,000 naira as a benchmark minimum wage, not just for government, but also for private. How do you think it will go to alleviate the economic hardship in the country?
Mind you, the salary, the wages increment, that is the least. It's not probably that we have workers that take 200, 300, 400, depends on the level they are. That is one. Two, whether we like it or not, as it stands today, we have just to be realistic. And I think that this is just an eye opener. Unlike before now, almost all the governors are coming to Abuja at the end of the month, probably just to come and take what they think they kept here and all that. It's for all of them now, probably to open their brains, call more people that they know they can work with them and say, okay, because naturally, God have blessed us in this country. Naturally, almost all the states, if I'm not mistaken, almost all the states have one or two minerals or one or two things that they can do, probably even to surpass 70,000 naira. It's not the reason when you look at the argument between the laborers and the government, the challenge is not even that the wages. Is that because if you take 200 today, what would 200 buy for you? That is the question. Because if you are looking at probably maybe like the president was giving them the option of, okay, I'll give you 250,000, but if the government eventually increase the fare to 1,000 naira, how many of you can go to work? How many people can be able to use the car? And for those that doesn't have cars, the people that are selling in the market will definitely put the pains they are going through there, put it on them to buy. So the question is this: what are we doing? Because I always tell somebody, I was telling somebody this morning when I was discussing somewhere, I said, are we actually asking our governors? Because it has been that normal, they want to turn it to normal things by, you just see them, probably just believe that.
Before now, I could recall that, Jerry, we're about to round up talking about the fact that the president wanted to use legislation to kind of create a loophole for state governors to be able to negotiate their own minimum wage. Will that be fair?
It won't be fair because, one, I won't say whether fair or not. Reason is this. If you remember, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, the governor of Anambra State, Professor Chasoludo, he's an economist, he's a certified economist and all that. He came on TV to say, even there are some states, if probably they are going to be sharing what they are collecting, some states cannot even pay 20,000 naira. That applies to some states too. What are those people that you are paying salary? There are a lot of people that are paying salary in their state. They are living in Abuja here. They are just on payroll. Even federal government payroll. There are a lot of people that are abroad. There are a lot of people that are working with states. They are abroad. They are still paying. They are still getting salary. So what is the state government doing? Because the idea is this: you keep on blaming everybody who would want to take responsibility? The answer is no. So to the state government, what the president is trying to say now is that I've pushed it to the what do you call it?
Branch of government.
To the other branch of government. Well, we have 3 tiers of government, and that was why you see the president was saying yesterday that he's trying all means to see how they can legislate the local government, that final local government autonomy, that is the payment and all that, because they believe that by the time the payment go down to the state, okay, imagine like for instance now, a local government chairman can have access to tractors and some other farm inputs and all that. It's very easy. So we are saying that because what are we talking about in Nigeria today? Food sufficiency. Do you know that today, if the food is there and probably what the Nigeria needs, an average Nigerian want to work, want to hustle, want to do 1 or 2 things. The challenge is that government is not putting probably enough amenities, let me put it that way, for people to enjoy all those things. Because to me, if there's tractor in my local government today, let's say assuming we have like 10 or 15 tractor, we have 12 ward in my local government. In that 12, let's even say assuming that there's 1 tractor per ward, and probably you can get access to that, there will be enough. So the multiplier effect on those things that you are bringing from 774 local government, look at that 774 local government, how many thousands of wards we have in Nigeria, wards. So look at that thousands of those wards, look at what they are going to be bringing to the, so automatically the local government, because before it comes to state, the people at the local level will enjoy themselves when it go to the state. So these are, I think, should be the areas the federal government should be focusing on, because it's not only just to give them money, because we have seen that for the past 1 year,
there has to be a mechanism to make things work.
No governor is complaining, unlike before. The governor will have been shouting, but for the last 1 year, they are collecting even more than enough. Some are collecting even times
more
2,
than what they were
times
getting
2, times 3, we are getting. So none of them is complaining. Now, how would they get it back to the grassroots? Because if at the grassroots, because major complaints are coming now is at the grassroots. Because you can't tell me that my mom will go to market today, nobody's buying anything from her, and he has to come back home and probably complaining. So the complaining will reach me. My own complaint will reach other people. So I think government should focus on that grassroots. If that is being achieved,
okay,
I think we have where we can start from.
All right. Once again, thank you so much, Ambassador Austin Asage, for being with us on Politics Now.
Thank you for having me once again.
All right, I will take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll go to Edo State and get talking about the politics in that area. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Politics Now. Time for us to get talking about all that is going on in Edo State, Edo politics. So let's give you a rundown of the talking points once again before we cut to our guests. Okay, our first talking point, Philip Shaibu's reinstatement as Deputy Governor, and attack on Shaibu APC Guba candidate, and impact of Obaseki Shaibu food and governance in Edo State. Bobby Egbosa, Ogbayuwana political analyst, will be joining us in a short bit. But let's really break down what's actually going on. On Thursday, it was reported that a motorcade of Senator Monday Okpebele, the APC governorship candidate, was brutally attacked by members of Edo State Security Network and Edo State government thugs, allegedly. And during the unprovoked brutal attack, 3 mobile policemen attached to the security detail of Senator Okpebele were injured with bullets wound, while one of the policemen has been declared dead. And reports noted that Senator Monday was in and an undisclosed hospital in Benin receiving medical attention, and other members of his entourage who were victims of the brutal attack in various hospitals in Benin. But the state government has reacted through, of course, the All Progressive Congress, rather, in the state, reacted to the heavy shooting incident that occurred at the Benin airport. The shooting, of course, broke out when Philip Shaibu, whose impeachment was obtained by the Federal High Court on Wednesday, was received by a mammoth crowd of supporters. Let's have a listen to what the APC chairman in Edo State said.
What happened at the airport is so sad for a governor who has some few months to go. He mobilized his vigilante group to lay ambush on the deputy governor of Edo State and our candidate who just came in from Abuja, and they started shooting sporadically on them, and they killed one policeman and injured several others. They were shooting live ammunition and everything, and these are Edo vigilante, and a lot of talks led by one Chief Francis Nebeleki. So, and this is sad, and we are going into election, and we are seeing this. We always say we don't want problem, but if there's a big problem, there's no problem. But there's a problem now. So, we are letting the public know what Obaseki is doing and what he plans to do, and we will not fold our hands. But we are law abiding, and we are not going to fold our hands.
Okay, so you just heard from the APC chairman in Edo State regarding the issue with Philip Shaibu. Well, the Edo State government observed the level of wanton destruction perpetrated by thugs and elements working in connivance with former deputy governor of the state, Philip Shaibu, in the guise of purportedly enforcing a judgment restating him in office. Shaibu led thugs, this is coming from the state government, through airport road axis of Benin City, attacking innocent citizens, unleashing mayhem on private citizens who are going about their lawful businesses. Shaibu is reminded, according to the state government, that he is not above the law and is liable for the wanton destruction perpetrated by his co-travelers. And the state government said that Shaibu's violent tendencies is well documented, and he has been warned at different times by respected figures of society, including the Reverend Benin Monarch, to shun violence. Well, joining us all the way from Edo State is Comrade Bobby. Thank you so much for being with us on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is all mine, Bobby. Okay, so from an independent point of view, what is going on in Edo State? We heard the APC, we've heard from the state government. This morning on national TV, Philip Shaibu, had a lot of things to say, a lot of accusations of which we will get to. But as a political correspondent based in Edo State, I want your independent thoughts. What is going on, and what's the atmosphere like in Benin?
What is going on in Edo State in the socio-political scene amongst the state actors and non-state actors is what is expected from the political class, and is what the political class have been known for even before this 2024 Edo gubernatorial race. What is happening is that the political actors and non-state actors are beginning to reach up equality. Philip Shaibu's statement alleging that his life is being threatened is something that is currently under investigation by the Acting Inspector General of Police, Edo State Command. And what transpired yesterday in Airport Road, to be precise, in Benin Metropolis of Edo State, was a show of fiasco, was a show of might, was a show of power tussle, was a show of seizing, and was a show of who gets what when. why and how, using the barrel of the gun, according to the famous Chinese philosopher Mao Zedong. And so many persons have come outside from different quarters to also give their opinions on what transpired here today. And some persons have also said that that attack yesterday was orchestrated by the APC to swell the reputation of the current Edo State government under His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki.
Okay, if I hear you clearly, you are saying that the APC themselves planned an assassination attempt on the life of somebody who is going to represent them, come election. Is
that the APC framed yesterday's fisticuffs in Edo State? Some places are also saying that what if that medical condition that the correct APC candidate is in happens to be fake? Some other places have also come outside to say that some other places have also come outside to say that the issue of the shootings, the sporadic shootings and the political fisticuff that ensued yesterday was carefully orchestrated by the All Progressives Congress to tarnish the image of the current governor of Edo State, which will further rub off on the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. And some other places have also come outside to say that Philip Shaibu was not supposed to go and resume office yesterday. And the rationale they gave was that the Edo State government gave a stay of execution appeal, suspending the judgment from the Federal Court of Appeal, which gave Shaibu favor to go and resume office. And when there is a subsisting case that is yet to be fully clarified, I think both parties have to know what the position of the law lies. And the stay of execution order stands. And even the Edo State government came outside to reinstate the fact through their memo that Marvelous Godwin Omobayo remains the candidate, remains the deputy governor of Edo State, on the rationale that there is a stay of execution order and appeal which have been filed before the appeal courts in Abuja. So what happened yesterday was that the political class from the APC, through its candidates and Philip Shaibu and other persons, we are trying to force their way into the government house. And in coming from airport road, we started hearing gunshots. Some persons even had recorded videos where some persons sustained all manner of injuries. And a police officer was confirmed dead during the process. In fact, as I speak to you now, sir, I can tell you that over 2 persons have been confirmed dead from yesterday to now. And over 6 persons were actually victims of that political fisticuff that ensued between the political class in Edo State yesterday. The candidate of the APC being in the hospital, some persons are saying that it is an emotional, a socio-political and an emotional blackmail.
So what you're trying to tell us is that there is no casualty of any APC member being hospitalized, because that was the report that we got on Thursday. Can you confirm independently that no person, because you were saying that, that is not true, but what do you know for a fact that you can tell us?
I don't think that information is entirely true. From what I've been able to gather from a very reliable source, I've been able to gather, because the APC candidate, I saw a video yesterday when the APC candidate was standing firmly fixed alongside Philip Shaibu. And Philip Shaibu, this other guy, what does this call in church? Tony Kabaka, was addressing the acting inspector general of police, registering their displeasure. There was no place inside that video that showed that the APC candidate was feeling sick. Neither was he feeling, was he having any health challenge whatsoever. Only for us to later discover that in the early hours of this morning, they said I was in the hospital. And these are part of the political gimmicks, part of the political theatrics, and part of the political intrigues that is expected as far as the Edo political scenario is concerned, because the political class, as I said, have an issue. The political class, which comprises of the political actors and non-state actors, are beginning to hit the politics.
Okay, Comrade Bobby, I wanted to ask you, was it wrong for the state government to not have allowed Shaibu to return back to office and work based on the court ruling here in Abuja? Because when the court gives a verdict, it is binding. But let's not forget that there is also a feud between these two persons. And we also have someone who has already taken up that role and responsibility of the office of the state government. So what's the stake of the government in all of this after the verdict? Are they not supposed to honor the verdict? What are your thoughts?
In response to what you just asked, don't forget that the Edo State House of Assembly also issued a stay of execution appeal to the Federal Court of Appeal that they followed the constitutional process of duly impeaching Philip Shaibu, which was invalidated by the Federal Court of Appeal. And as far as the law is concerned, the law has eyes but has no ears. Since the Edo State House of Assembly also came outside to say that since there is a stay of execution order, it is only proper that those in authority, the Inspector General of Police, as well as all the legal practitioners that are actually parties and partakers of this case, strikes a balance. Are we saying that the state of the execution order does not warrant the Federal Court of Appeal carrying out further investigation into the issue? The answer is no. Since there is a stay of execution order in accordance with the law, I think what Philip Shaibu would have done is to seek what becomes of the aftermath in this issue. And we were talking about Philip. He was saying that this morning that he ought to have resumed office and that the Inspector General of Police should send security operatives to follow him. Yesterday, there were no security operatives that were following him to his office, meaning that he acted at variance with the Constitution and with the law. He did not follow the due process of going to meet the acting Inspector General of Police, who is supposed to follow the political chain of hierarchy, to reaching out to his boss on what to do. Instead, what we saw in Edo State was that so many guys, some faceless individuals, were following him straight to Denis Osadebe Avenue. There are footages to this effect. There are live videos to this effect. You can verify. When they went there, they were trying to force their way inside the office of the Deputy Governor of Edo State. And if it was in a case where they were followed by law enforcement agents, it would have been a different thing entirely. But what they did yesterday was that they were using gunboat diplomacy to achieve their own aim, which later led to the fisticuffs that ensued. And another thing that we should also pay attention to is that he did not at some point say that when he was heading to the government house yesterday, he took security operatives along with him so that the law and order in the state can be maintained. You know, the issue of peace
The question I want to ask is still about the government of Edo State, because they're responsible for the life of persons in that state. So I can understand what could be happening, in the sense that you have these two people who have been at loggerheads even before the time of the primaries of the election. But the government is supposed to be responsible for the security of the deputy governor, who has been reinstated and is recognized by the court of law as the deputy governor. So you have the casualties, because we're not even talking about the casualties. One person reportedly died, and I'm sure, I don't know, several other persons were injured. If you could, tell us what the death toll is in that place. I mean, seeing people die because of political violence, it doesn't really speak well of our democracy as a nation, and most especially for the people of Edo State.
No, this is where confirmation comes in. When they were heading towards the office of the deputy governor, an intelligence report got to the security of the state, and the governor, being the chief security officer of the state, had to strategically place security operatives to quell the situation. The governor did not choose to do what they are alleging him of. The governor is not a party in this case. And many persons, that is what they are trying to create. The narrative is that they want to create false information within the media space that the governor has a hand in the issue, whereas the governor does not have anything to do with what transpired yesterday. But rather, the governor was trying to maintain law and order. And there were security operatives that were strategically deployed to ensure that they maintained decorum and some good sense of civility around the metropolis, I can tell you. Because I stay in the metropolis, I saw security operatives patrolling here and there, trying to maintain the whole environment and ensure that everywhere is in a state of relative calm. So there was no point where the governor failed in his duty to maintain law and order. Then on the issue of peace in Edo State, my advice for the political class is that, irrespective of the political party involved, irrespective of the political ambition or political interest, that all parties should sheathe their swords and put the security of the lives and property of the good people of Edo State first before anything else. Because what they did yesterday was that they were trying to hit up the polity and trying to dissuade Edo people from coming out en masse to vote for the candidate of their choice come September 21st, 2024. But Edo people, being politically savvy and aware of what the issues are, have already resolved, from what I've been able to sample through the various opinions of what transpired yesterday from the Edolites I spoke to. They have already resolved that come rain, come shine, on September 21st, 2024 this year, they are going to go to their respective units and police centers across the 3 senatorial districts and across the 18 local government areas of Edo State to vote the candidate of their choice. And that Edo State is not a banana republic, neither is Edo State a place of political violence, a place of political irony, and a place where political lawlessness subsists and exists. Is that they are going to use their PVCs to peacefully elect and vote the candidates of their choice that will in turn come and restore the calmness, the peace, the civility, the prosperity that all well-meaning Edolites crave.
All right, now let's get to the root causes, because like you said, the people will have the final say when they go to the ballot to vote. But this is not surprising. I mean, it's really interesting how, political friendship can just go sour just in the nick of time. He chose Shaibu, talking about Governor Obaseki, to be his deputy. And I mean, in a short period of time, we see all the drama that ensued prior to the time of the primaries, and even after the time of the primaries, the crisis is still lingering. What is the cause of this? As someone who has been covering Edo politics, what can you tell us? Because in the interview this morning, Deputy Governor Shaibu said that he can't count, I think, over 100 calls that he made to Governor Basiki, and there was no response, even after when he was asked if he reached out to the governor to kind of find, because if you're reinstated as deputy governor, you're not going to work from a point of isolation, you're going to work with the governor. So he said that he reached out to the governor, but still no response. So what's behind all of this when they just have like a few months to the election and they'll be out of office?
What the issues are between the current governor of Edo State and Philip Shaibu is very clear. It's very clear. It's the issue of political interest. It's the issue of political ambition. And it's the issue of political differences between a sitting governor and a controversial deputy governor as it stands. Because what is happening now in Edo State is as a result of so many unresolved differences that were before now not thrown out to the public. Then on the issue of strained relationship, I think that the issue of strained relationship became more prevalent when it was alleged by some quarters that Philip Shaibu not only had an ambition, but was trying to force his ambition inside the throat of his principal, who came outside to say that anybody had a right to contest. In fact, it was carried out by so many conventional terrestrial broadcast platforms and even print media organizations. Even on the social media, the information was everywhere. And the deputy governor at some point started creating an impression that he was being oppressed and that his ambition was being stifled by his ex-wife principal. And so many issues began to unfold. But as we progressed, we now discover that the governor has been able to maintain his political calmness and depth.
Now, sorry to cut you short, but do you feel that there are forces at play beyond just Philip Shaibu himself? Because he's been romancing with the All Progressive Congress, and I mean, that's definitely called anti-party activities. I don't know how you would describe his romance with Senator, the APC governorship candidate. And but do you feel that there could be forces? Some would want to assume, okay, and speculate that the All Progressive Congress, is trying its best to see how they could destabilize the PDP's grip of power in Edo State.
I feel that the APC, they are using Philip Shaibu as a political tool and vessel to fight the power of incumbency from the government of the day in Edo State. And Philip Shaibu, by some sides, has been seen as a political renegade, that is also using the APC to fight back, using his own sense of entitlement that he was supposed to be the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party. Remember that Philip Shaibu carried out a kangaroo parallel primaries in Commercial Avenue in GRA in Edo State, and went to Wadata Plaza, the PDP secretariat in Abuja, to go and demand a certificate of return in a socio-political process he never partook in. Because the Electoral Act is very clear. Section 84, subsection 14, Article 1 to 9 states the parameters and the prerequisites that all political parties and all aspirants must meet in order for each political party to produce delegates and their flag bearers. And Shaibu ran foul of the law by constituting a primary where he contested against himself and won himself, and he even declared the result before the very eyes of the world. And went to Wadata Plaza in Abuja to go and ask for a certificate of return in a process he never participated. So what I feel and I think is that Philip Shaibu is playing the role of a spoiler. Remember that it was Philip Shaibu.
All right. Sorry, I have to cut you there, but because of time, we're about to go. But final question, Comrade Bobby, looking at the state of governance, because my previous guest, Ambassador Austin Asage, mentioned your state, that he has performed poorly, and looking at how the political crisis in the state has gone so far, I was one of those who applauded your governor for meeting up with a new revised minimum wage, which he initially increased before this demands for increase in minimum wage. And now the federal government has come to meet him at 70,000 naira for Edo state workers, which is quite commendable. But let's talk about governance and how this feud between these two political figures in your state has, played out so far.
The governor of Edo State is doing very well. He has been able to increase the minimum wage. Remember that he was the first governor in Nigeria to increase minimum wage. That one is relatively novel in the annals of the socio-political structure and the political history of Nigeria. He increased the minimum wage to 40,000 and took it a step further to 70,000, which the federal government had to go through a rigorous series of meetings to meet now. So governance in Edo State, it's going well. If you go around the metropolis, in fact, across Edo State, there is massive road construction in Edo State. The transportation system is working effectively. Our public service and our civil service, they are working so effectively. In fact, we have the best public and civil service structure in Nigeria. Our basic educational system is fantastic. In fact, the Edo best basic educational model is now a model that national states and even sub-regions are coming to Edo State to copy. With agricultural, we are beginning to make name in the agricultural sector. Crops like oil palm, like rubber, like granite. We are mass producing cassava, and we are beginning to generate more revenue. That is why Obaseki has been able to consistently.
Okay, Comrade Bobby, we've got to go. Our time is almost up. Thank you so much for giving us updates on what's going on in politics in Edo State.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure is mine. Well, on that note, we draw the curtain on the show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Morno Balagogo, and I'll see you same time right here next week, Monday, for another exciting conversation on politics now. Thanks for watching.